I could have put on my nails. Hi guys, I'm live. It's God's magic. I hope everyone's doing good. We are back for another spiritual chat because I always got some venting and some ranting to do. Um, so I was talking to Tequila this morning about some legalistic religious breakouts that are happening with the rapture and stuff like that, and um how my research, y'all, I've been researching about King James lately, and let me tell you, that man's got a past. Okay, that man, if people don't know, this is probably not accurately right yet because I haven't finished this part of my research, but there's allegedly a book that he wrote about demonology and how to work with demons and summon them when he also wrote the King James Bible. I think it was King James III that did that. I can't remember. Like I said, I'm still researching on a lot of this stuff. I go down deep rabbit holes whenever I get into research. I'll be telling Gabby stuff and she not sometimes understand it because I just be going down this whole different language, you know? And so, but yeah, that's one thing that I've been doing. Um, yeah, there's just a lot of worry because of the world right now and the state that it's in, and people who thought the rapture was happening at an early time that are now suffering from their decisions because they want to listen to a man instead of listening to the voice of God. There's a difference because a lot of these people that were proclaiming to be Christian listened to a person who got on a podcast and told them through a prophetic message that the day of the Lord is the 23rd, that the rapture is happening on that day. And I guess he set off an offspring. I don't know if people started sharing that everywhere, but it was a podcast. I think it was specifically on YouTube that it was found. And because I started researching a little bit and watching him, and I found his TikTok. I'm trying to find his YouTube or the podcast that was he on because I keep seeing clips of it, but I cannot find it. So I have to keep looking for that because I want to see exactly what he said that started this whole drama about people selling their cards, giving their kids up to CPS, people giving away their houses, you know, people like that. I don't know. But like I was telling Tequila this morning, for when it comes to legalistic religion, I will not keep my mouth shut. That is one thing you will see me lose my ever-loving crap brain over. I just wouldn't comprehend it. I just don't understand it. I just don't understand how you can sit there and say this stuff. But no, I still don't. Right now, as I'm speaking, I cannot comprehend why legalistics feel the need to take some type of control of, you know, people who are really into a religion. And I don't know. It pisses me off. But anywho, so yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. Is just researching on what's been going on the last couple of weeks. Today's not going to be a long live because it's Friday, and I know a lot of you are probably at work right now. A lot of you are probably sleeping in. I'm about to be sleeping. So, yeah. I'm about to take a nap and then get up and start doing some more stuff. But, gosh, I'm redoing my nails again because I took them off because, look, they started popping off. So I just ripped them all off last night before I fell asleep. And then this morning, I already got my shower and stuff that I wanted to do done. So now I just need to redo everything that I didn't do before even putting them on, which is like cleaning them good, filing them down, alcohol, you know, rubbing the excess glue off, all that stuff. Nope, didn't do that. Anywho. So, I'm going to answer this question now, even though I'm going to make a video about it. Let me go pull it up real quick. But, nope, my phone's dead. Okay, my other phone's dead. Anyway, so there's someone who asked a question, and I'm going to go ahead and answer it on here, but I'll go ahead and record a video sometime coming up. I'm not going to give you an idea of when because I say something sometimes and things just end up happening. So I'm not even going to promise or a date on that. So what I'm going to say is someone asked, what Bible or what book, what do you recommend reading first in the Bible? And I honestly recommend the way I'm doing Gabby and me's Bible study is we're starting in the New Testament first, but we're also reading a couple things in the Old Testament every day. Well, we're taking a break now, but the whole point is I would start with the New Testament because that's who you're supposed to be learning about. Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. And the Old Testament, I would kind of skim over as you're reading in your New Testament because there's a lot of things that connect in the New Testament, a lot of laws, a lot of stuff like that. So I would recommend the New Testament first because you learn about Jesus, all the miracles he did, who he is as a person, and as the Son of God, the sacrifices he made, the people that betrayed him, the visions he saw, the prayer moments he had, encounters with Satan, encounter with demons, many of them. And then the disciples, you also get to learn a lot about the disciples. Gabby has a crush on Peter, Simon Peter. Oh God, look at that. She has a crush on Simon Peter. So I would recommend reading the New Testament to get a perspective of who Jesus is. And I would read from Matthew all the way to Revelations to understand today and what's going on around us and a lot of stuff that connects to the book of Revelations. So I would definitely do that. Now, I would also, after the New Testament, go to the Old, and I would start from Genesis and read all the way. I would say up until Leviticus. A lot of that's Moses right there. That's a lot of information, not just Genesis. Sorry, it's all split up. But then you got the creation of the world, Adam and Eve, Abraham, Joseph. I think Genesis 40 or 50 is the end of Joseph's life or something like that. I think he died or something like that. I can't remember. But then you go on to Moses and Exodus, Deuteronomy, Leviticus. Then you go to, let's see if I can remember. Don't you dare. Hang on. Let me guess, because I know you're going to think of it. It's going to hit your mind. You're going to say it. Even though you're not paying attention to what I'm saying, it'll still hit your mind. Like, is this what you're talking about? Yes, see? Numbers. Numbers is next.
Oh,
see?
You said it was Leviticus, and I was like, I believe Numbers.
That's Moses too, right? Correct? No? Yes? Maybe? So? No. I can't remember. I can't remember.
So.
I can't remember.
Yes, he is. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Because... Wait, when does... I think Joshua comes after Moses. When does...
Okay, I said it backwards. It's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, Deuteronomy. And then it goes to Joshua, Judges, Ruth, First Samuel. Okay, period.
So Deuteronomy is the last one with Moses in it.
I thought it was Numbers after Deuteronomy, but okay. I thought like they were backwards, but I would definitely start with that because it's really important. This book of Esther is my favorite one right now. I'm a little my brain's working at a different level right now, if you know what I mean. So Esther's a really good book though in the Old Testament to read. It's really cool. I love the story behind her, the anointing she had, the faith in God that she had. But anyway, so yeah, I would recommend reading the whole New Testament before you even start the Old. And you got Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians, 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus, Philippians, Hebrews, James, 1 Peter, 2 Peter, 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, Jude, Revelations, which obviously we know that's not it because there's more books that are missing. Like, if you ever read Titus, there's more than that just taken out. But anyway, so I would definitely recommend that. I can't remember who asked it, but I would recommend the New Testament before you even dive into anything else, because if you're saying you're a follower of Christ, then you need to learn a little bit more about Christ first, right? I mean, that's just how I see it. I don't know. Well, especially in my path, that's how God showed me how I need to read, especially when we're proclaiming to be a follower of Christ. We need to know who Christ is, every aspect, every mistake, every crisis of his life. And then it just explains more about the prophets that predicted beforehand, that prophesied him and his coming. So, or his birth, I should say. Oh, no, ma'am. Okay. Anywho. It's from that Mormon book.
Why did you keep it?
Because I was going to research. I was going to research this person right here because he's not in the Bible.
Is that not Jesus? Is that not a...
This is not, but this, yes. This is their Jesus.
I thought you were showing me a photo of Jesus, and then you said some man, and I said some man that looked like Jesus to me, and then you turned it over to show me the actual man you were researching, and I went, oh.
This is not Jesus. This is not biblical, just so you know. This is from a Mormon Bible. I'm not hating on Mormons, but I'm going to put a strong but there. Anyway, yeah, this is not biblical. This prophet's not even in the Bible, just so you know. what else would I was want to say? Because there's really not much. I just wanted to get on here because I know y'all are about to start your weekend. But yeah, I just want to answer that question really quick. And that's why I really titled it Spiritual Chat, because when I do Spiritual Chat lives, I kind of talk about everything from the south to the east. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? So, gosh, I'm really like trying to think what I was just about to say. Oh, yeah, New Testament. I recommend the New Testament and then go to the Old Testament. And if it helps you better, read the New Testament while also reading aside a little bit of the Old Testament. If you do that, I would recommend you read like the prophetic disciples. I would read about Daniel, Ezekiel, while you're also reading into the New Testament, because you'll see a lot of New Testament scriptures of Daniel and Ezekiel's prophecies. Isaiah, that's another one. Elijah, that's another one. The Book of Kings. That's a really good one, but
you definitely need to read Elijah while you're reading the New Testament.
Right.
That is very important. You'll see later. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it's pretty daggone cool.
Look at Simba over there. Simba. Oh, damn, my boobie's looking good. Oh, sorry. Sorry, YouTube. You can't see nothing, so. 11:11. Okay, anyway, how do
It's not 11:11.
It's the timer for how long I've been recording. So, yeah, I wanted to answer that question. There was another question I wanted to answer that I cannot remember, and it was something about, I know I just answered the one about where do you recommend to start with for someone who hasn't read the Bible. I recommend the New Testament. That would make a lot more sense when you start reading the Old Testament. A lot of things were more different than it was in the New Testament. A lot of old laws they followed strictly back then, more than the new law when they tried to capture Jesus, legalistics. When they try to capture Jesus on everything, they try to catch Jesus, trying to catch him slacking, and they couldn't. Because Jesus was on guard. He was on guard from the time he was born, baby. He was ready for his destiny. And I really think that the Pharisees have a lot of descendants in this earth because there's a lot of legalistic religion. And I'm going to keep talking about that every freaking video. Every freaking video. Legalistic religion has taken over so much right now. There's about to be, a lot of people who turn away from Jesus because a lot of the church, a lot of the legalistic reputations that people are holding right now are not leading people to Christ. A lot of the reputation of money, power, glam, all these things that people think God wants them to have, and really God just wants them to share his word and share his attributes and share his morals and share the 10 Commandments and other commandments that were added on more and more over time, and then you got these legalistics who change the Bible so their evil wickedness can be suggested and approved in their eyes. No, ma'am. I don't play that stuff right there. Y'all, I'm trying so hard to stop cussing. So anyway. So there's a lot of that going on right now. And I know I talked about this Wednesday, but I'm going to talk about it again. There's a lot of people who gave up their cars and their families and their kids to CPS during this rapture thing that was going on, because the rapture is not even biblical. If you read, there's no mention of a rapture except the second coming of Jesus Christ, which Jesus said in his word that nobody will know the time, date, and the year. I mean, there's others apostles and disciples of him who even said in the word that not even the angels in heaven, hear me out really clearly, not even the angels in heaven, not even Jesus himself knows when he's coming back. God knows when he's coming back because God is the Father. So if Jesus don't know when he's coming back, do you think a prophet or a psychic or a medium or a oracle or tarot card, anything that helps you tap into the spirit, you can't find out that information? You can't. There's no scientific, there's no physical, concrete evidence of when the time, date, and year of Jesus coming back is. No one can find that out. Nobody, ever, 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 ever. It says it many of times. And those of you who probably click on this video and try to troll on me, because I know there's a lot of people who watch my YouTube without commenting, I would say, that don't necessarily agree with this kind of perception of the rapture. But let me tell you something. The Bible also clearly states that in 1 Thessalonians or 2 Thessalonians, sister was staring at me in the corner of the room and I felt the vibrations. In 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 2, it says that when people come to you and profess to you that they know the time and the date of the Lord, and even say to you, look, there he is coming in the clouds, do not even look to them, or to be deceived. And the thing about people that don't really read, who are lukewarm Christians, the Bible says even the elect will be deceived by these rumors and false signs and counterfeit miracles that are being done all over the world. So because, God creates and Satan tries to counterfeit, because Satan can't be God, but he tries by counterfeiting everything. And if you know about counterfeit, it looks real and it feels real, but it's not real. So there's some people who have books about this stuff that are teaching false doctrine about the time, date, and the year of the rapture. And as a person who is, always learning more and more every day, I think people really need to also read the book of Enoch, the Gnostic Gospels, the Apocrypha, the hidden books of Thomas, all these hidden books that are like scriptures just backed up more and more on the Bible, and just adding on to the stories that were left off at a very weird halt. There's a lot more information when it comes to the end times. I mean, I think in the book of Enoch, it said somewhere like not even the gifted will know, or something like that, because it's a little different. The book of Enoch talks a little different. If you read it, you know what I mean by the language is a little different. It's still English, but it's like not in Morse code, not in the code, but more in it adds on to what the Bible is actually saying. It like goes along with it, where you're like, oh, that's where that other half of the story is. There it is right here. It makes sense. Like Tequila, if you watched her vlog, I think a couple months ago, she was flipping through the book of Enoch, and she was talking about how there's no gender when you go to heaven. And she didn't understand, how Christians, legalistics, will say otherwise, and how they're so against even just people having a different gender or transitioning or whatever. It's because the concept of their theology and their religion is not for freedom of Christ. It's for self-indulgence and selfishness, and it's for crap. Y'all won't stay still. And it's for self. It's not even to dying to self. People don't understand that when you walk with Jesus, it's about dying to self. It's about not always being about what you want. It's about honoring Christ and following him and following in his footsteps, getting to know him more, building that bond, praying more, meditating, doing whatever you do to connect with him in your own way. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. That's where legalistics get mad. If you ever come across a legalistic, tell them that the Bible says to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Lord have mercy. The legalistics that probably are rolling right now, because the thing is, it's taken over so much of the world that we're in now that this generation's not going to get a concept and the idea of Jesus, because the old generation's Jesus and this Jesus, I guess, are a little bit different, because now people are starting to get to the point where they're publicly persecuting people who do believe in Jesus. Back then, it was a little bit different. Everybody knew who Jesus was back then. I'm not going to say everybody, but there's a lot of more history back then, a lot more end time signs back then, a lot more preachers preaching on the end times and stuff like that. A lot of more preachers talking about false doctrine. I like that. They need to come back with that. That's what I think they need to come back with. Preach some false doctrine, please. But sorry, I'm doing this to my nails. I'm trying to get it prepared because I really want my nails back on, y'all. So legalistics have pushed people to this, I'm going to say, religious psychosis, because me and Gabby researched, because she got told she was in a religious psychosis, and we debunked that and how she's not, or how that's inaccurate, because if you research the definition of religious psychosis and read the records of people who did break out from religious psychosis, if you go to TikTok and you type up rapture talk, that's religious psychosis. That is religious psychosis, honey. So that's what legalists are pushing now. Oh, religious psychosis. You don't have freedom. Be fearful. Be shamed about who you are. Running away from the truth because you've been told false doctrine. That's literally what religious psychosis is. Where is it at? But anywho, I love these little spiritual chats. This is why I name it spiritual chats, because it's about everything in one. I'm not going to stay on legalistics. I'm not going to stay on religion. I'm not going to stay on one subject. I just go everywhere at once, and everyone knows I talk in circles and talk around the world and then get to the point, but then also go to another point to add on and add on and add on. But anywho, I'm going to get off of here, guys. I hope you enjoyed my little ranting, venting, and my moments where I was fogged out because I couldn't think. But, you know, I don't really care. It's just more fun to look, you know, to talk about this stuff because I'm very passionate about legalistics. I really wish that there was some type of distinguishing between the people who are actually genuinely wanting Christ, because you'll come across somebody that will say, I'm a follower of Christ, I'm a Christian, but then once you mention transgenders or gays, lesbians, or you mention anything else that has to do with spirituality, connecting to Jesus and walking in his light, then they turn around to, oh, no. That's not what we stand for. God don't like that. But doesn't the Bible say actually the opposite of what you're saying? Yeah, it does. Let's open it to Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Galatians, Revelations. Like, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that actually contradicts legalistics, but they deep hard. They come and masquerade as light so much that to the point when you get into their system, they grab you when you can't escape. That's what sucks. Because once they got you, they got you. They're not gonna let you go so easy. They're gonna feed you all a bunch of stuff. This is so hard. I'm used to just saying it. I'm just used to just cussing out my tongue. Y'all hear the birds chirping? Yep. I'm trying to remember where I was. Do you remember where I was? Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to. That's the thing. I'm trying to let Jesus take over because I mean, on live especially, because I'll sit here and F-bomb, and I'm sitting here, everyone's going to be able to tell my faces. I'm sitting here like I'm trying not to say the F word, and it's so hard when you're used to doing it for such a long time. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I think that people need to realize is that there's a lot of people right now on TikTok who are healing from religious psychosis. I'm going to call it psychomatic breakdown or psychotic breakdown or religious psychosis awakening, because once these people come out of whatever they were in, they're going to start questioning, and there's going to be a lot of them who turn away because of one person, one man, when God says, don't listen to man. Don't listen to your pastor like that. He's not God. If your pastor's not pushing you to read the word, the Bible yourself, then who are you actually listening to? Are you listening to someone who's masqueraded as light and wants to control of what you read and what he wants you to believe or she wants you to believe? But then when people like Joyce Myers tells you, go read it for yourself if you don't believe me. As a matter of fact, if you're not going to get anything coming here, then don't come. Go home and read your word. You know? So, I mean, church is for fellowship and for iron sharpening iron and being around like-minded people. That's what church is for. But people have turned it into income and money and you know, it's just, whew. Anyway. So, I hope that the people on TikTok I don't know if y'all heard though. There was a lot of people, like there was one lady who gave up her kids to CPS, one person who sold their car, one person who sold their house, one person who stayed in their house one last night thinking that the rapture was going to happen. There's a lot of probably countries who thought the rapture was coming, so people started selling a lot of stuff. I saw one TikTok video where a bunch of people in the forest were screaming so like in terror and in horror because they thought they were left behind. And if you have read the Bible, you know that children will go first before anything else. Children are innocent. I think the age of accountability is 12. So from like newborn to like 11 years old, I think would go. Because at the age of accountability, Jesus started preaching in the synagogues at 12 years old. So that's when the age of accountability of accepting him comes in, they understand and comprehend and know from right and wrong at that point. Their brain is chemically wired a new way. It's going into new wiring, if that makes any sense. Probably not new wiring, but their mind is expanding. That's a better word. So if the rapture was to happen right now, if there is a rapture, because like I said, I don't find anything in the Bible that says the rapture is even, I don't find any biblical context about the rapture. I just know that the second coming of Jesus Christ is going to come like a thief in the night, and that nobody will know. It's going to be happening in a blink of an eye, and the sky's going to bust open, and there he is. That's really how it's going to go. It's in the book of Revelations. It's actually been predicted over generations and generations and generations. If you go read the book of Daniel, go read the book of Ezekiel, maybe, because he saw the visions of the 4 creatures in the book of Revelations that are written later that John wrote. So a lot of information, a lot of this. I love this. See, I live for this stuff right here. I can sit here in a podcast or something and just talk about this stuff over and over and go back to different conversations, jump back to the other thing, like go back and forth. And I sound a little like I'm rushing and hyper. It's just because I'm waiting on something to charge, and and I'm ready for that to get done so I can hit it. So all the people that are on TikTok and that are suffering through this, I really pray for them, because they didn't study enough. They didn't go read their word themselves, because I think this proves a lot about people who pick and choose and cherry pick scripture to base on their opinions and their agendas and their beliefs. Because all the people on TikTok were not, anytime someone would say, well, no, 1 Thessalonians and 2 Thessalonians says that no one will know the time, date, and the year. Not even Jesus himself knows. Only God the Father knows. The people that were in this mindset of the rapture are programmed this way because they don't read their word themselves. They don't actually read their word with spiritual eyes. They might read it with religious eyes. They might read it with legalistic eyes, but they don't read it with the spiritual eyes of the Spirit of God to understand what he's talking about when it comes to the rapture. So, and that's the thing. There is no rapture because it's not in the Bible. That is the whole point. If there was to be a rapture, like Tequila said this morning, all the babies would be gone. I mean, the innocents would go first. Lord, have mercy. So, hello, welcome to the live. So, all these people who are going through this struggle and suffering, I'm going to go back to that again. Hi, comment down below so that I can at least acknowledge you, please. I don't want you to just sit there and not let me talk to you, because I like to just address you by your name or your YouTube name. But, so there's a lot of people right now who are recovering. There's people that haven't shown back up on TikTok. Like, I watch a lot of mukbangs on TikTok. I don't really like, it has to be one of those days where I'm really like gardened and just scrolling through, because I like to watch just mukbangs, period. But people don't understand that the book of Revelations explains verbatim what is going to go on. What if, one thing after another, how long of a period of time, but not a date, time, and year. That's where people get messed up. There is no date, time, or year. There's no a code. And so, good morning, Lady Witch. Lady Witch, always my boo. So all these people that are on TikTok that we're talking about the rapture. So all these people that were talking about the rapture, it's not even biblical. And what I'm saying is that the psychological and the breakdown that these people have, because there's people in a country right now, I can't remember where it is. They were deep in the forest and they were screaming out because they got left behind and their kids were there and everything. So people are screaming out to heaven, like, what is going on? Like, why are we left behind? And it's really because a pastor told them in a podcast, in a message from the Lord, that the rapture is going to happen on the 23rd, but where he contradicted himself, not saying he don't have a gift, but I'm saying where he contradicted that message is where in the Bible, it says that nobody in 2 Thessalonians and in Matthew and even Daniel maybe, or not Elijah.
I mean, Jesus says it in red.
Mm-hmm. But the whole point is it's been predicted over time. Mm-hmm. There's been people who prophesied Jesus's birth. Many of times.
I want to say specifically in Matthew, it says people will say the Messiah is here, Jesus Christ is here in the desert, and do not believe them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
For no one knows the date and time, not even I myself knows the date and time of which I will come back.
And which people don't understand is, I was disappointed. I know I'm not going to be raptured, but I really wanted to see some floating people. No, Lady Witch, you kill me. Girl, just imagine waking up and seeing that. You know, the thing is, I don't know if the biblical term is a rapture, but there is in Revelations where it says the sky will bust open like a sea scroll, kind of like, you know, and it'll just open up like a window, and Jesus will be coming in the clouds with the saints of God. Like, so where he contradicted that statement is because Jesus don't even know. Jesus himself, the Son of God, the one who came and died on the cross for us and rose in 3 days and left the Spirit for us that's in us through the Holy Spirit, doesn't even know when he's coming back, because it's God the Father who knows and will make and let him know when the time is. So that's where people started having a little bit of freak out, because there's been like, oh my God, I saw one video, y'all, where this woman was talking about how she gave up her kids. And she said something, I told Tequila this morning too, how one mother said, I gave up all 6 of my kids and I ain't even fighting to get them back if the rapture don't happen. Ma'am, you just found a whole excuse to get rid of your kids so you didn't have to pay no money for nothing, probably. I'm not trying to be mean. Right. Here you go.
Just like call it how it is. You clearly did not want to be a mother when you had them, baby.
Because you stated, oh, I'm not going to get them back anyway.
I'm not going to fight for my kids.
That's my point. She literally said that, and it makes me hurt for these kids.
I think that's what Tequila said also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she already knew what she was doing before she just used that as an excuse. Maybe she's not, I'm not judging her, but she's probably not even a Christian or a follower of Christ, because the mindset was, I'm not getting my kids back. It was nothing about.
Found an ad. Found it out.
Mm-hmm.
Found an ad.
He found an ad.
Want a break from the ads?
You know what? I'm tired of Hulu giving me ads. My Hulu off right now.
I can't even listen to my Spotify without listening to whatever crap comes on, because I ain't paid it in months.
Lady Witch, my boobs are coming in a little bit better. I hope they look good. Just saying. I sure did just say that. Lady Witch is about to be like, baby. I mean, nice, but I don't want to see none today.
You can actually put that down here if you want to do that.
Let me just sit on your bed. Let me just put it down here. Oh, okay. There you go. Anyway, it doesn't show you. Sister, it's not showing you. It's literally way over here. Okay, let's see what she said. Okay, she said, I'd be fighting to stay if my kids can't go. Not today, Jesus. I mean, let's see. I'm all about the cleavage, baby. Period. Oh, girl. I look pregnant. I know I can't. I haven't got the uterus transplant yet, but I haven't even got anything else done yet. I gotta.
Well, I mean, you also haven't had the motion that requires you to have in order to make children.
Right.
In order to get pregnant. So there's that.
Did I put that? Okay. Damn, you can still see me. I just cut a sting. I can't get it.
Putting my skills to test.
Girl, we all know you're a good sucker. Mm-hmm. Well, you're a retired one, but yeah. Oh, Lordy. Lady Witch, what have you been up to? I like this view. Oh my God. I think I just found my new spot for filming videos. Look how beautiful it just, well, not the background, but the whole point is it's just, you can't see you.
Well, I mean, I'm also not sitting up. You would be able to see me if I was sitting up.
No, you wouldn't. Oh my gosh. I know. Oh, nice to see you from this view. Anyway, thank you. Girl.
To be fair, at least it's not us going through metal trying to get to it now.
I'm gardening if you want to know.
Well, trying to anyway. We're trying to garden.
Excuse me. If you get pregnant, there's... Oh, God. Let me put it on the stage. If you get pregnant, there's more to worry about than a rapture.
Yeah.
Girl, the thing is though, if the rapture was to happen, I don't know. here's the thing. I mean, the Bible doesn't even clearly say a rapture. It just says that the time of the second coming. That's all it says.
Well, I mean, here's the point. Why would we go up to meet him in the air just to come back down?
Right.
He's going to come take his sheep,
Mm-hmm.
but he's coming to us.
Right.
It never says that we're going to go meet him up in the sky to come down to fight that battle. It says he's going to come to us.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a part in the Bible where I think people are getting confused, and it says where the saints of God would join him in the clouds for the final battle.
We're not saints. We're sinners.
I know. What I'm saying is, in the translation of the Amplified, there's a quotation around God's children as saints, because when you become a child of God, when you become a Christian, you become washed away of all your sins. You become clean. Not saying you're sinless, but you get washed away of your past. So therefore, you become a filled, Holy Spirit filled person. So at that point, the Revelations in one translation, either in this one or my other one, or in the NIV that I saw. Anyway, so
to anybody that's confused, Saint Jude is going to meet Jesus in heaven, or Jesus right before he come down. Not us. We're not going through the split sky. Jesus is.
Anyway, my point was, we're supposed to either be up there with him. I'll have to continue reading later. Either up there with him when the trumpets sound, or it's a sky bust open and everybody that is dead will come alive, and they would join him for the fight. See, there's just so many. I gotta look it up and reread it, because I used to be a Revelations alcoholic. That's what I call it. I used to study it, read it every day. I used to just get it in my mind.
Probably because of the way the world is.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I first read Revelations, I was 13. So, as an adult now, it's a little bit different.
I mean, around 13, where you're reading Revelations, is when I turned away from God.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped wanting kids. So.
Oh, Lordy. But this is, Lady Witch, this is why I named these chats, these lives, spiritual chats, because I don't want to talk about just one subject, and I don't want to stay in one conversation. I want to piggyback. You know what I mean? I want to go from legalistics to religious psychosis to bondage to bondings, chains, the name of Jesus, your power, your magic, your spiritual abilities. Like, I don't want to talk about just one thing. That's why spiritual chat means spiritual chat. And I have a lot of them lately, because I don't like staying on one subject. But I like recording videos. That's when I can stay on one subject, because I can just edit the parts out where I'm just going all over the world. But I don't know. There's just a lot of people that I'm just kind of like, I can't believe that this is a thought process, but I can't judge them, because I was raised in a legalistic household. I was raised in a legalistic religion that programmed us that the end of the world could be at any moment, and you had to be on your P's and Q's. And when people were coming out gay and lesbian and all this stuff, there was a whole breakage out there in the country, and they'd be like, oh my God, blah! People would start freaking out. People would get put into psych hospital. People would, girl, legalistic religion to me is the most dangerous, because they operate in not just a spiritual demonic energy, but they also operate in a dark psychology level too, on a spectrum of knowledge that I can't really say. I was about to say something, but I can't, because that's there's some people that can study certain things in order to break someone down. There we go. That's a good way to put it. But to get back what I was saying a while ago, the people that literally are going through the recovery of this, there's two sides that I have, and I'm very honest about my stuff, and I don't care what people think. So I have two sides. I have the people that thought the rapture was going to happen, and I feel sorry for the ones who were genuinely minding their business and getting ready for it, thinking it was a specific day. And if people would read, there are things that will be happening before Christ returns. Those things are not happening. Amen.
In 2012, I sat in front of a counter expecting the world to end at midnight, and whenever it didn't, Teal said, I told you.
See, I was told 12 p.m. 12 p.m. apparently.
Because it was December 12th of 2012.
Jesus, that the thing they don't understand is Jesus don't even know.
No, I get you. I understand all that. I'm just saying, in 2012, I did not know. And I was sitting in front of a TV watching a countdown. Because
Yeah.
it was because of the movie that was coming out, but I didn't know that.
Those movies are great, though.
I'm too scared to see them because, what if I end up thinking we're in a parallel?
Well, some of the stuff is biblically accurate. Some of it is. Like some of the movies they're saying that it's not true. There's a lot of it that's biblical that is true. The Left Behind movies, yes, there's some parts that are not biblical, but most of it is. Most of it is a perspective of what's going to happen. A perspective, not a reality, a perspective of what could biblically happen. They cover everything, all the 7 trumpets, all the bowls of wrath. They cover the people disappearing, and they don't stop. It's not just a whole world being taken. It's one by one, each nation. They go through the whole description and Left Behind. They start with one part of the earth, people disappear. It's the kids first, over all the world. And then it goes to adults, pre-adults. It goes randomly. It's not just a whole...
Right.
They make it to where you can understand the biblical point of view of it. Because
this one lady literally said that her and her family were not pooping because they did not want to be on the toilet.
Girl, I saw that too. Let me tell you, when I saw y'all, I'm very scared to poop because I don't want to miss the rapture. Baby.
I really hope it's a skit. Like, I genuinely do hope it's a skit.
Well, the other side of it, so to finish what I was saying, one side is the people that were genuinely ready for it, and then the other side is the people that are making fun of the thing. Yeah. So we have two sides that I think are very dangerous. One side is the mockery because God could be like, okay.
Oh, actually, yeah, hold on. Actually, I need to get in screen for this. You're about to see my faces, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, actually, I need to get face to face with y'all for just a second, okay? Satan.
Don't forget your cigarette.
I didn't. I put it there for a reason. I only have like 2 hits left anyway. Okay. 2 things. Satan wants you on an extreme spectrum. What does that mean? Jesus wants you in that perfect center ground. You're either going to worry way, 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 way too much because of Satan, or you're going to worry way, way, way too little, and you're going to think you're invincible because of Satan. But God's going to, keep you humble and keep you knowledgeable. I'm just saying, like, if you're that extremely worried, maybe it's not God making you worried, honey. That's all. That's my whole point. Those were my 2 points.
You're like, okay, I had my camera for the day.
It was just that important. That
Let's see. She said... Poor Jesus. Can you imagine not knowing the time you are supposed to do this thing and it has been some 2,000 years? Yeah.
I mean, Abraham thought he was going to kill Isaac.
I know. That's my favorite story, honestly, because that's a test of faith right there. I actually asked some relatives.
And if you look, there's so many different times where God says, go to the place I will show you.
Mm-hmm.
That's Jesus. Just wait for the time I have granted you, my son. Okay, but when is that? You are not to know.
Mm-hmm. People are oh, Jesus. I feel so bad because all these people that are coming forth and saying Jesus said this and Jesus said that. Look, baby, he is in heaven at the right hand of the Father.
Imagine if he got excited. Father, the humans think I'm coming down.
Am I?
Am I? Can I go see my friends now? No, son, it's not time. Oh,
as a matter of fact, because these kids think it's time, we're going to add another generation and then it'll be time because everybody will have forgotten me by then. That's when Jesus, that's what people don't understand. It's going to be at a time you don't expect him to come back. It's going to be in a blink of an eye. So because these people are in such a, Jesus coming back, I feel like every time someone says that, God's like, that's another year.
It also says that during the end times, it'll go around just like it happened in Noah. And if you remember in the story of Noah, everyone was partying, getting married, having children, right up to the point the flood started happening and Noah closed them doors.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen the exact same way.
Except this time it's going to end in fire.
Right. But that's also my point. It's like nothing's going to, because my whole thought of the rapture growing up was the world is going to look like Vietnam did in Vietnam.
Right.
it's going to look like a war zone. But in reality, it's just going to look like normal society has gone crazy.
Well,
If that.
Not only that, if something was to happen, where do you think a lot of the drivers would be? If the rapture was supposed to happen, there would be cars, planes falling out of the sky. You know, there would be trains wrecking in the cars. There'd be cars hitting each other, cars crashing into buildings, homes. Like, there would be chaotic. It would be so chaotic that you would not be able to even get a spot. That, you know, there would be so much fear people would be running to the caves.
Caves are even underground.
That's the whole
Because
point.
you can get into sewers now.
That is the whole point, is people will literally run so far and they cannot hide in the time of the wrath, because I don't understand. Like, there should be specific knowings of the. Honey, if you're preparing for the rapture and it's going to happen at a specific time, don't you think you shouldn't stay in your house? Don't you think you should be somewhere where you're going to be covered from planes, trains, boats, ships? Like, think of the ships. Think of, oh my God, I hate ships. Think of the ships that would crash into land and not stop.
Not even crash into land, just go into the bottom of the ocean. They would keep going until they stopped, run out of water, and something, a whale, shark, whatever, made that ship go underground. Or even something on the ship finally lets the water in and they just sink.
All I gotta say is there's something specific in Revelations about all the sea creatures dying, and that's when we really gotta start paying attention, because that's a sign. That's a biblical, real reality, not a theology, not an ideology. That is a real reality revelation. That is not something you can just pick out yourself and say.
Well, if you also look, what did Jesus eat primarily? Bread and fish. So it makes sense that he'd take out all the marine life.
My childhood church had a poster depicting that. Planes crash because the pilots are gone. Yes. I mean, if there's a rapture, hello. I mean, I don't think that's the right word. The right biblical word is second coming, the second coming. And the thing is, when that happens, there's going to be so much chaos that some people will take themselves out. There's going to be so much chaos where the people that didn't believe are really going to be. There's just going to be a lot of stuff going on, and it's scary, because if you think about it, you're just doing your da-da-la-la-la, and all of a sudden cars start wrecking into each other, planes come crashing out of nowhere, planes crashing into each other, trains colliding to one another, earthquakes, the sea being split, like so many different actual signs that are biblical. You know what I mean? I love how I said I'm getting off of here. I'll talk to you guys later, and I've been sitting here for another. It's about to be 50 minutes, about to be an hour.
As an atheist, I thought that the rapture or the end times were going to look like Walking Dead.
You know what? Why don't we watch Left Behind when we're done with this?
I mean, we've been trying to watch it for a couple days now.
Do that again. Where's the watch in my hand?
Oh, it's in my skin. It's a sarcastic gesture that I picked up on, and I think it's funny, so I do it as a funny, so that you know that I'm not being fucking serious. Excuse me.
Note, it doesn't say just dying. Look at the damage we're doing to the ocean and we're causing it. Yeah, not only that, Lady Witch, I agree with you wholeheartedly, but there would be something, I think, called wormwood put into the ocean. I can't remember. There's something to do with the specific of the ocean. Now you get my Bible out. Okay.
Yeah, you were going to be here for another 4 hours.
Okay. The rise of false prophets. To give you context, this is how much I've studied the book of Revelations. I have a lot of stuff highlighted and underlined, girl. I love this stuff. So, we're going to go to, let's see. Okay, this is about his vision. This is about the message to the city. This is about the message to another city. This is the scene in heaven when the war starts breaking out. This is about the seals. So this is really interesting. This is the scroll with the 7 seals. My Bible is completely coming apart. Okay, that stuff I can interpret differently. Like, I'll have to write it in English for people. Okay. Let's see. Okay, and here we go, period. Okay, so I'm going to start with Revelations 8, verse 6, and it says, just in case you can't hear me, it says, oh no, I need to see what battery percentage I'm on. At 24%, so I'm going to read this and then try to break it down real quick. So this says, so the seven angels who had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound them, initiating the judgments. The first angel sounded his trumpet, and there was a storm of hail and fire mixed with blood, and it was hurled to the earth. And a third of the earth was burned up, and a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. Okay. The second angel sounded his trumpet, and something like a great mountain blazing with fire was hurled into the sea, and the third of the sea was turned into blood, and a third of the living creatures that were in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. The third angel sounded his trumpets, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch, flashing across the sky, and it fell on the third of the rivers and in the ocean. No, sorry, misread. On the third of the rivers and on the springs of fresh waters. The name of the star is Wormwood. Okay, so okay. And a third of the waters became wormwood, and many people died from the waters because they had become bitter and toxic. Then the fourth angel sounded his trumpet, and a third of the sun, and the third of the moon, and the third of the stars were struck, so that the third of them would be darkened, and a third of the daylight would not shine, and the night and the same day would not shine. Okay, then it goes to, then I looked, and I heard a solitary eagle flying in mid-heaven for all eyes to see, saying with a loud voice, woe, 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 great wrath is coming to those who dwell on the earth because of the remaining blast of the trumpets, which the three angels are about to sound, announcing over the greater judgments. Then the fifth angel sounded his trumpet, and I saw a star, and this is John talking, by the way, if you need to know for context. The second angel sounded his trumpet, and something like a great mountain blazing with, what, did I just read that? No. Yes, I did. Okay, the fifth angel sounded his trumpet, and I saw a star, an angelic being that had fallen from the heaven to the earth, and the key of the bottomless pit abyss was given to him. He opened the bottomless pit, and smoke like, okay, we need to actually go to the signs. Sorry. Now continue. He opened the bottomless pit, and smoke like the smoke of a great furnace flowed out from the pit, and the sun and the atmosphere were darkened by the smoke from the pit. Then out of the smoke came locusts upon the earth, and power to hurt was given to them, like the power which the earth scorpions have. They were told not to hurt the grass of the earth, nor any green thing, nor any tree, but to hurt only the people who do not have the. Okay, we're back. I'm on 20%. Who do not have the seal of God upon their, let's see, where's it at? They were told not to hurt the grass of the earth, nor any green thing, and but not to hurt only the people who do not have the seal, the mark of ownership and protection of God on their foreheads. They were not permitted to kill anyone, but to torment and cause them extreme pain for 5 months. And their torment was like torment from a scorpion when it stings a man. And in those days, people will seek death and will not find it. They will long to die and to escape the pain, but will discover that death evades them. The locusts were remembered horses prepared and equipped for battle, and on their heads appeared to be something like a golden crowns, and their faces resembled human faces. So yeah, there's just a whole, that's just Revelations chapter 8 and 9 of the stuff that will be happening, and most of it hasn't happened yet. And I'm talking about the third of the earth burned up completely. Like, that hasn't happened just as yet, but it's coming. A lot of this stuff's coming. Actually, you know what? I think I know what Monday's live is going to be, because I'm going to end this right here because my phone's about to die. So I think Monday, if it sounds good to you, Lady Witch, I will be here probably the same time that I was this morning, or I'll probably come around like 9:30, maybe 11 a.m. And we'll start reading the book of Revelations if I have to, because this sounds like a fun thing to do, like to go deeper into it. Yes. See, this is why I went ahead and named this spiritual chat, because of this purpose right here. I knew I was going to be pulling this out soon, sometime today. But anyway, thank you so much for joining my live, Lady Witch. And anyone who is watching the replay, thank you so much for watching. I hope all you guys enjoyed this venting, rambling, back and forth, forgetting what I was saying, cloudiness, and I'm half gardened right now. So, yeah, I hope this was entertaining. And I hope you have a good weekend, right? It's Friday, right? Okay, I hope you all take care, guys. I'll find a Bible to read along. Wait, I'll find a Bible to read along. Yes, please do. Please do. I love you all. Thank you so much. And I will see you Monday. Bye.